Okay, so I just wanted to quickly do a touch up on, well, an explanation on bulking to cutting ratios because there's a lot of semantics around the word bulking, and in effect, it pretty much just means gaining muscle. But for a lot of women, the word, like, because I tailor a lot of the way that I do things and the way that I market things is tailored towards women specifically, even though I do males and females. Um, a lot of the things that I touch on are very mindset and psychologically based. And I find that the word bulking can freak out a lot of people and a lot of women in particular. So I've actually stopped using the word. I don't know when I stopped using it, but I'm really hoping I stopped using it like a year ago at least. And the main thing being is that I don't really believe in a full, like, a bulk in terms of a bulk. So if I ever say anything, it'd be in terms of a lean bulk or an improvement phase or like a performance phase. Because to me, it shouldn't be seen in terms of like cutting and bulking, because if you look at it in retrospect, it's pretty much just like saying yo-yoing through like periods of overeating and undereating, and that in itself is promoting some type of disordered eating, in my opinion. But we're all subject to our own opinions. But I just wanted to quickly get out an introduction video to a series that I really want to get out, because I already have 2 articles written for Nutrition Warehouse on bulking, and I want to clarify why I don't use the term anymore in that regard. But basically, if you want to bulk and if you want to cut, they're on 2 different ends of the spectrum. And the word bulking, to a lot of people, they don't want to lift weights because they don't want to look bulky. So why use the word, especially when I'm tailoring my program to women? But the thing is, adding on muscle and bulking are pretty much the same sort of thing. You need a calorie surplus and you need high volumes of training, and you're able to actually recover from high volumes of training. So it's pretty much gaining weight, but like we don't, like, especially because of our hormones as women as well, the way that our bodies respond differently to overeating is a lot different to how men's do. And because we're pretty small females in itself, and our maintenance calories, because of our sizes and pretty much everything about us, is going to be so much less than that of a male. Like, our maintenance calories, let alone our bulking calories, are probably going to have less of a gap between them than, say, like a male. Like, I had a male that was cutting really hard. Sorry, I'm thirsty. Cutting really hard on, what was he on? He was on like 1900 calories, but he's really freaking active, so that's a massive deficit. And that was to get him pretty much stage lean so then we can start an effective building phase. And he's been built, I just said building, see? He's been building for about I think 4 months now, and he's only in effect put on 4 kilos, and he looks so much bigger, so much fuller. He's lifting so much heavier, and he continues to lift heavier and do more volume week to week. And to me, that's a successful bulk, because like being able to continually more volume week to week means that you are able to add on the muscle mass, quality muscle, not like, because the muscle cell, you can store intramuscular triglycerides, which is fat inside your muscle, and the muscle in itself, if you're on a high carb diet, also holds water with it. There is a lot. That is why being hydrated is so important to looking full. So if your coach is freaking telling you not to drink shit for ages before comp, like, okay, maybe the small drop right before stage so you don't get bloated, but then if you're not rehydrating behind stage, like sipping, I always say sip friggin' coconut water to get your electrolytes in and that stuff before stage, then you're gonna look flat and stringy. And I don't usually deplete them that much so that they look flat. It's just a very, anyway, back to the real bulk and cut thing. So this is where the magic of maintenance comes in, and that's something I really want to touch on in future videos, because I posted a photo on Instagram, and like, it didn't it didn't like offend me in the way that it sounded like it did. But I posted a photo of just me right now, and I was like doing a pose, and she's like, "Oh, your bulking goals," and I was just like, if I was just like a general person that didn't really understand the the meaning behind this, and because I know the girl, that could have really offended me, because it's like, bulking what? You're calling me fat? You're calling me big? Like like if I was really insecure about the path that I'm on. But I just responded saying I'm not bulking, and she's like, yeah, well, I can't remember what she said, but like, I'm not bulking. I'm not putting myself into a massive surplus to gain a lot of body fat or gain a lot of muscle. I'm literally just living life, enjoying life, doing whatever the hell my coach says, having him look after my program, which is pretty much all I want. Like, I don't have set goals on, okay, I'm going to put on weight now. Okay, I'm going to yo-yo back and restrict myself now, because I don't like that. That's like yo-yoing. Like, your nutrition should be periodically phased. Phased. I always say phrased, periodically phased to your goals in specific steps. So if your aim is to lose body fat, then you will be reducing your calories logistically. But then say you're going on a diet break, or you're having a refeed or something, and you're eating like back to maintenance, that's not a period of yo-yo dieting. That's just resetting your metabolism, resetting your hormones, resetting your whole friggin' giving you performance back and having you focus on performance. Sometimes I may just make that just like a refeed period with my girls, but depending on their feedback, because I am very intricate, very detailed with my feedback with my girls. Depending on their feedback, that's when I know what to do while they're in this phase. Like, do I keep them there longer? Do I focus on performance more? Because I have a girl that just signed up with me, and she's like, one of the questions is, how many times do you train? And she's like, multiple times a day. I was like, she was doing HIIT like every day. She was training high volume, and a lot of it was very like fluffy work. Like, it wasn't very strength focused, and there was like nothing in there that brought her back into a parasympathetic state, which is another video that I'm planning on doing: sympathetic state versus sympathetic state, which means not stressed and relaxed, where your metabolism, digestion, hormones, and all that stuff are actually funky, versus when you're stressed. So I'll be doing a video on that too eventually. It's all on my to-do list. It's just the when. But so she is in this state constantly. So what I did was inject a whole heap of aerobic training into her. So I got her walking pretty much 30 minutes, 5 times a day, because the training program is 5 times a day. Got her walking 5 times a day. And on the weekend, I told her, no gym. I want you outside doing outside cardio. Try and take your shoes off and actually do barefoot walking and erging, because that's going to de-stress you so much. So that is pretty much her program. And the 5 days of training, like, they're intense and they're short. Like, I made them more strength-based. I took out as much volume as I could. And with the volume work is basically on breathing and drills and stuff that are going to get her focused on breathing. Like I got her doing like 90-90 breathing, dead bugs and stuff like that. And like stability ball thingies and things that actually just bring her back into a focused state and not very. And I also got her having salt baths twice a week and meditating when she can, because she needs to be into that parasympathetic state. Anyway, I went on a whole different tangent, but this is an interlude into a whole range of series, so I guess it can kind of serve as that. And I'm just going to call this intro video. But basically, the reason why, I just wanted to clarify the reason why I don't use the word bulk, and that's because especially when women, especially when I'm guessing most of you guys are women watching this. I don't know, because you're probably just watching this because I just look like a lunatic unicorn. But yeah, because we don't really want to bulk in the sense of getting like fat and like chunky and stuff. Then I'm trying to find ways to keep you riveted, because this is going on too long. But when we are aiming to put on muscle, like, we think big booty, we want to have like nice looking legs, nice looking quads. And then I get like the random client saying, I don't want to train like these girls. I don't want to have big muscle. I want to be toned. There's that trigger word. And defined and lean, and have lean muscle. But there's no such thing as lean muscle. there's muscle. What makes it you chunky, lean, fat, and lean and chunky muscle, whatever, is the fat around it, and if you're storing fat inside the muscle, which is genetically disposed around the body. But if you have your diet in check and you're training correctly, there, like, a lot of people think that you actually get bulky training heavy, when if you look at people like freaking like, shout out to Lauren Simpson, she lives heavy and she's as lean as a freaking, yeah, that's because she probably does 20,000 steps a day as well. Like, there is a lot of activity in her life, and she probably, like, it might look like she eats a shitload, but that shitload in comparison to activity levels, because NEAT is very important. I did a post on NEAT not that long ago. If I didn't, that means it's scheduled, because one of my goals was to schedule posts every single day on my business page. But NEAT is very important, so that would in effect either keep her at a maintenance or in a deficit. So it's easy for her to cut it back. But us being women, like, that's where I lost my thing. He was on 1900 calories and now he's bulking on like 4800 calories. I think I actually just upped it to over 5000. But he's basically, he has like 7 days, he does 7 days, 7 days on 5000 something, and then he does 3 days after that on 4200 or something, just to like keep him a little bit more insulin sensitive and like, yeah, kind of not overfeed him too much and overwhelm his systems. He has 2 days at a lower. I believe that's the way that I believe in my programming. Once you're an advanced client, because he's been with me for like 2-3 years. So anyway, and then me, for example, if I'm trying to put on muscle, like this was ages ago, I'd be on like 2200 calories. My maintenance would be 1700, and my cutting calories would be like 1400. Do you see how much like of a small gap it is? So for us to say we're bulking, it just like, yeah, it's okay. Like, I just don't really see it as a term that we should use as females. We should just use something more like improvements, or like gaining, like putting muscle phase, or just like I would say massing, but I call it more improvement phase, because you're not really like focusing on just the aesthetics of something. Yeah, I get it if you're a competitor, but a lot of the time the mindset is just fucking with you. So I would say turn it into like a performance phase, a strength phase, and then turn it into like a shredding fat loss phase. Improvement, fat loss. You can call that shredding if you like, but yeah, that's just the interlude to this. And if there's anything else you want me to touch on in future videos, let me know, because I do really want to make this a series. And like, there's going to be some things I'll be touching on with my VIP inner circle group that I won't be putting like into these videos, because I make theirs more interactive. But anything that's like formal that you would want me to touch on, leave them in the comments below. But I do have some idea of what I want to touch on otherwise. Mwah.